Gutierrez.
You know, I expected to get up here really high energy, and I find myself in tears, just overwhelmed with emotion. So I'm going to take a moment and tell you that that song, Take Me Home, Country Roads, I specifically asked John to sing that today because he sang that song the very first time that Orestes and I walked into this church in 2010, just about in July of 2010. So just about 13 years ago, so that really was very much coming home. And of course, the whole music team was incredible in bringing that sort of homecoming song to life. So, wow. All right, now we're gonna shift gears. And I've been living in Orlando for the past few months. And Orlando is the world capital of amusement parks, right? Okay. So a few months ago, I found myself in awe of a roller coaster. I love roller coasters, right? I love the thrill, the speed, the twisting and the turning. And I saw this roller coaster where it looked like people were flying over treetops and then soaring down and diving over ponds, and it looked so cool. I've got to go on this ride, right? So I get in line, and I get myself seated and pull this harness down, and next to me is a 12-year-old girl. And she looks at me and says, "Have you been on this ride before?" And I said, "Well, no, not this one. It looks so different. You know, I love roller coasters." And she says, "Well, don't be scared." I didn't have a chance to respond. I immediately heard the hydraulics of this ride shift into gear, and then the seat that I was sitting on went up and away from my bottom, and I was hanging there in this harness. And before my brain could even process the sensation of hanging vulnerably in midair, the roller coaster just took right off. I mean, it took off at top speed, and it immediately started going up and around, and I felt like a bird. I took a deep breath in and enjoyed the ride for a while, right? And then it did what every roller coaster does. It slowed down and started that dramatic incline, right? You know where I'm going with this? And so I'm getting myself ready for the fun, fast coast down. Oh, no. This took an immediate nosedive. And I'm hanging and going, "Wah!" just straight down. First time in recent memory where my stomach literally came up into my mouth, okay? And this 12-year-old next to me is just giggling away. I'm going, "Oh my goodness." And then it started to slow down, and I'm like, "Okay, we're in the home stretch now, right?" Nope, it took off again. Zoom. And when we finally pulled in to the home base, this little girl is smiling, and my face must have been green, right? And she says to me, "Were you scared?" I said, "Oh, just a little bit." And then she says, "Will you go again?" And I said, "Well, not today." And thus is our spiritual journey, friends, right? The roller coaster, we see something really new and exciting, a new path, something we want to try out. This is our goal, for the roller coaster to have fun. Our spiritual journey is to find the face of God. And we see something new in front of us, like going to ministerial school. And we think it's going to be fun. Until you get to that dramatic incline, right? And so that's what I'm going to talk about today. I've been asked a lot, well, what was it like to go to ministerial school, right? Well, it was truly a spiritual journey. And I can say that when I signed up for this, I was in the dark. I was like Moses in the book of Exodus, where God says, "You cannot see my face." Because I thought, oh, I'm going to go learn how to run a church, and I'm going to read a lot about, our founders, the Fillmores. Oh no, friends. This was the self-development spiritual journey of this roller coaster. Like in the song, there was a definite calling. And it's time to go. This is the beginning of that song. And that was it with ministerial school. And I knew it was time to go. I had a very specific incident in the Looking Glass program where I prayed with a teenager and realized that I was ministering to her. And that was the very definite calling. So I thank Reverend Sherry for giving me that opportunity, and for Doris for partnering with me there, and Orestes was with me that day. So I am definitely home here among all of you. So there's a very definite calling, like the roller coaster. Wow, that's cool, I'm gonna go. For ministry, I prayed, felt the call, okay? And there's always, always more ahead of us, right? So a lot of this journey was about deconstructing who I thought I was and becoming who I came here to be. Like in the song, the city walls all come down. Everything in my life made some sort of change, and it was not always easy. Because this spiritual journey, God is always calling us. There's an opportunity. There's an opportunity to take the next step, an opportunity to step into becoming who you came here to be. So what are some tools that can take us through the daily battle as well as the arc of our spiritual journey? Well, the main one in unity is prayer. It may sound trite, but it truly, truly is the tool that brings us closer to who we came here to be. It's what enlivens us and connects us to all that is through our heart center. And in Unity, we have a very specific 5-step prayer process that can help us get centered and be aware. And so the first step there is relaxation. Just take that moment to breathe deeply and make that intention that you are here in this moment, present in this moment with God. Because whatever's going on around you, it's not going to get worse in the next couple minutes that you spend with God. In fact, God is going to you'll be aware that God is with you and everything gets easier. So take a moment to relax into it. And then concentrate. This is where we really and truly get into our heart center, recognizing that we are one with all that is. The third step is meditation, going into the silence and just listening for the guidance. The fourth step is realization. And this is where we use our tools of denial and affirmation. We release what's not serving us, we release our fears, and we affirm what we're calling in. We affirm the tools that we know are already ours. Because we always already have everything we need. We were born, we came into this lifetime with everything that we need. And it's about our uncovering and discovering it and learning how to use it in the world to shine our Christ light. And then after we have done that realization, it's a time for gratitude. Appreciation. So the steps are relaxation, concentration, meditation, realization, and appreciation. We give thanks for all that is, all that we are, and what we've come here to be. And we can choose to pray on our own, or we can call Silent Unity. I'll tell you, I am a frequent flyer with that 24/7 prayer line. We can have a prayer partner. We can join a prayer circle. Because where two or more are gathered in my name, there I am in the midst of them. That's from Matthew. And in those other faces that are praying with you, you are reminded of God's face. Home is the place where I see God's face. Just I'm looking out there and seeing God in each and every one of you, whether you're smiling back at me or not. And now this isn't to say that everyone's path is difficult, okay? Don't mean to scare you off here. Did anybody see the movie Puss in Boots: The Last Wish when it was out at Christmas time? Okay. Well, it is an animated movie, with the characters from Shrek in it. But it's one of those movies that you can understand at lots of different levels. Adults will enjoy it too. I just watched it on the plane. So this is an illustration of how everyone's path is different in that in the movie, the characters were on a quest to gain control of the map to the wishing star, okay? And this map was blank until the person holding it said a prayer. We would call it a prayer. They were calling it, an incantation or a poem. It's the starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight, right? That children's poem. So they would recite that poem and then touch the map. Now, when Puss himself touched the map, he saw the valley of incineration going to Undertaker Ridge and the cave of lost souls. That sounds pretty scary, huh? Now, when his companion, his long-lost love, Kitty, touched the map, she saw the swamp of infinite sorrows, the mountains of misery, and the abyss of eternal loneliness. Oh, but when their new friend, Perito, touched it, Perito saw a pocket full of posies, the river of relaxation, and the fields of quick and easy solutions. I want that one, right? I want that one. We don't really get to choose what's on our path. But the point is that everyone's path is different, right? So when we are in this movement of, oh, come away, tonight we'll build a bridge across the sea and land from the song. Our tool here is to activate the power of faith. Faith is about our belief systems. And so how do we modify our belief systems? Well, one of the techniques that I learned was journaling. And there are many, many, many styles of journaling, and you can pick up the Art of Mastery, or in the Power Up book on the 12 Powers from Unity, there's a technique in there. But it's about examining your belief system. So you can ask yourself things like, growing up, I was taught blank. Fill in the blank. When things don't go the way I expect, how do I react? If I could have a redo in my life, what would it be? And if you journal on these topics, you'll discover what your underlying beliefs are that have affected your experience in life. Because our thoughts create our experience, right? Unity's third principle. So once we understand what our belief systems are, then we can begin to shift them. So for example, if you start observing yourself after you've looked at your belief systems, and you observe and go, oh, I got upset when the store clerk was rude to me. Well, my underlying belief is that I always get treated poorly, right? Or, I didn't get invited to lunch with that group. Maybe you're feeling, oh, I'm unworthy of their friendship. Okay? But what would those beliefs look like if it comes from your highest self? Your highest self will tell you that everyone is divine. I am worthy. I deserve respect, and I treat others with respect. And when you walk through the world with those beliefs, then your experience changes. So this is all activating our power of faith to find our way home. And home is the place where we see God's face and we interact with others from our highest and best selves. Okay? That takes us through all the twists and the turns of the roller coaster that is the spiritual journey. So when do you know you've arrived? Am I finished because I received that reverend stole? What do you think? No, we're never really finished. But we do come to a place where more of our experience is divinely revealed. And we're seeing God's face in those that we encounter. Okay? We're always evolving. And we use the words to transcend and include. So we don't ever give up all those experiences that are part of who we are. We transcend and include them in our spiritual journey, in who we have come here to be. I was blessed to spend the last few days of my dad's time of embodiment with him. He had had a medical emergency and was in the hospital in Texas. And when I arrived there, he was awake and alert, but he was on a ventilator, so he couldn't really speak. But we found ways for him to communicate with a letterboard and things like that. We were having a good time singing Frank Sinatra songs and Dean Martin and all those good old time songs. And he told me that he wanted to go home. And my sister and I were really confused. We're like, Dad, if we take you out of the hospital, you're not going to have much time left in this body. You're not going to make it down the hall without the ventilator. And he kept insisting that he wanted to go home. And we weren't ready for it, so we kept fighting it. He went into a coma, and it became apparent that he would not recover. So we made the arrangements to take him home. And I rode in the ambulance with him in the transport, and they were monitoring his breathing and his heart rate. And it was really amazing that as we turned the corner into his neighborhood, his heart rate went up. He knew where he was. Somehow, he was operating in that energetic level beyond time and space already, while still connected to his body. He knew that we were taking him to this physical place that he called home. Within a few hours of arriving there, he left his physical body and went home to spirit. And what I learned in that moment or through this experience, is really that home is the place you see God's face, and it is not dependent on your physical location. He had the Catholic understanding that he had to go to heaven. He had to leave the body and go to a place called heaven to be able to see God. But in Unity, we believe that we create our heaven through our experience, and that we see the Christ, we see God's face in everyone. So home is the place where we see God's face. The song says, across the fields of morning to a light that's in the distance. This experience of being home, the light in the distance. Don't sorrow, don't weep, tonight at last I'm coming home. There's never an end point. It's every day, every tonight, we are coming home. Maya Angelou wrote, "You are only free when you realize that you belong to no place. You belong to every place. No place at all. The price is high, the reward is great." So in becoming who I came here to be, I understand Jesus' words in John chapter 14. He taught us to see the face of God in everyone. Quote, "If you had known me, you would have known my Father and have seen him." That is the soul's evolution from Moses not being able to see God's face to Jesus recognizing the Christ in everyone. And so with you, I am home. Home is the place where I see God's face, and I'm experiencing that right now. And so let's take this thought into meditation, that home is the place where I see God's face, and we are all home right now. So feel secure in the place where your body is seated right now. Or those at home, get comfortable in any way you'd like. But feel those sits bones solid in your seat and your feet grounded on the floor. And take a nice deep breath in. I have arrived. And exhale. I am home. Another deep inhale, taking this journey from our head to our heart. Inhale, I have arrived. And exhale, I am home. And feel your heart getting warmer and expanding with each breath, filling this place that we call home. Inhale, I have arrived. Exhale, I am home. And now expand your heart even further out into the community of Eugene. I have arrived. I am home. Knowing that every face you'll encounter in parking lots, in Market of Choice, in the park, they are all the faces of God Inhale, I have arrived. Exhale, I am home. And now expand that love across the country, throughout the world. And just imagine many different faces that are the faces of God. Inhale, I have arrived. Exhale, I am home. And return back to this room, to this place where your physical body sits. And know that you have arrived. You are home. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Thank you, Rev Pam. Doesn't that sound good, Rev Pam? Thank you for your beautiful message of coming home to spirit, coming home to the heart, coming home to your calling. We are so grateful for you, and you will always be a part of our home. This is the time in our service where we gather our offerings to bless them with gratitude. And as always, we want you all to know how grateful we are for all of your offerings, for all of your donations, and for all of the many things you do individually to make this ministry so beautiful. So please join me as we speak this offering affirmation together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love, and I trust God.
This is the sound of one heart starting to heal. This is the sound of faith stepping out of